Troubled waters in the Taiwan Strait, the feared outcome in this part of the world. For now, though, this is a regular drill by the Taiwanese military, but it comes amid heightened tensions, as China today launched its own military exercises. All because of a possible visit by the third in line to the American presidency. The Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, is off to the region this weekend. Whether she visits Taipei is still unknown.
I don't ever talk about my travel because, as some of you know, it's a security issue.
She might not talk about travel, but the Chinese do, publicly warning of forceful countermeasures if Pelosi visits an island the People's Republic believes is part of its own territory.
No one should underestimate the determination and ability of more than 1.4 billion Chinese people to defend its national sovereignty and territorial integrity. I hope the country concerned will see this clearly and not play with fire.
So when it comes to this war of words, the rhetoric, how worried are you about the current situation?
The real danger in here that a possible conflict is very likely, but it doesn't mean it's not avoidable. Now, the problem is now, well, towards the direction as perhaps one of the lowest point of China-US relations. The reservoir of trust has been built in the last 40 years, has completely been exhausted. So it will be very difficult for either side to trust each other's words.
Joe Biden and Xi Jinping did hold a phone call earlier this week, but America has taken a more aggressive stance in recent years.
Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?
Yes.
China too has increased its sorties into Taiwan's defense zone, as President Xi solidifies his grip on power, with the National Congress this November set to install him for a third term, a first since Chairman Mao. All of this risks breaking the delicate status quo. After the communist victory in 1949, the US did not recognize the new People's Republic in Beijing, instead maintaining diplomatic relations with Chiang Kai-shek's nationalists in Taiwan. But in 1979, the US established official ties with Beijing and closed its Taipei embassy. But the US continued unofficial channels with Taiwan, committing itself to the status quo and ensuring that the island can defend itself. That strategic ambiguity has been at the heart of cordial but tense relations between Beijing and Washington.
It would be important as part of our shared responsibility to continue to manage this in a wise way that doesn't create the prospect for conflict.
That's why the US administration has warned against a Pelosi visit. But the Speaker has been a staunch critic of China.
We've been told for 2 days now that there's freedom of speech in China.
Back in 1991, she unfurled a pro-democracy banner in Tiananmen Square. Can this crisis be stopped simply by Nancy Pelosi not going to Taiwan?
I think that's perhaps the best solution, but this may not reflect very well for Nancy Pelosi for herself. I think let's link back to the American domestic politics, given the midterm election is on its way. And perhaps this is Nancy Pelosi's last chance to make her voices being heard.
For now, despite the posturing and the threats, neither side wants an all-out war that neither side can be convinced of winning. But the strategic ambiguity of the status quo feels like it can only last so long, given President Xi wants a unified China by 2049. Beijing calls that peaceful national reunification. But nothing is ever peaceful here, when even one simple visit carries such monumental consequences.